Your fault. I apologize. The clicker's screwed up. Somebody took the connector dongle that's supposed to be in there. Pardon?
We'll adapt.
I know you will. I have great confidence in you. And that's not a trick play, by the way.
Oh yeah, sure.
And when I find the team that ripped that off, I'm going to kill them.
Ready when you are. Okay. So we are a consulting firm, and we are discussing with you, the League of Women Voters, about the purpose and the effectiveness of authentic communication. This we believe to be one of the most powerful things that you can incorporate into your organization to enact change and to achieve the goals that we've set forth. We have a couple of really basic bullet points right here, right off the get-go, and we see these. When I first read them, I was like, "Oh, these are kind of cliche," but the truth is, they're not cliche. These are really powerful tools that we can use to better our business, and they are to be open, to connect, to be passionate, and to listen. And again, like I said, when I first read these while we were studying, I thought these are cliches. There's nothing special about these. They're just trigger words that go along with this topic. But it's not true. These are actually extremely powerful, and that is seen in that being open is something I just demonstrated. It's the power of having your open and honest opinion about a topic. When you're presenting to groups, it's really, really important that they feel what you feel, and that comes along with me being truly authentic about my thoughts on the topic. The second one is to connect. Everyone learns different. Everyone has a different learning style. And when we're doing presentation and trying to be authentic, we want to connect with that. We want to understand how you learn, what you're thinking, and genuinely connect. Second, and then we have being passionate. One of the things we were reading about is if you're presenting, if you're up here at all like Kenzie and I are, it means you're passionate. We believe in this stuff. And so connecting to that inner passion and understanding what it is you're doing and why you're doing it is extremely important and highly effective. Last off, we have listening. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has thoughts, experiences. Everyone has a story. And being able to open up to that story and listen to it is extremely important and extremely helpful when it comes to achieving goals in this organization. So from here, Kenzie's going to go into a little bit more detail, a little more specifics, and we'll carry it on.
Thanks, Schaefer. So, along with body language, being passionate, being open, being authentic, and reading and listening to your audience, it's important to also be aware of your linguistic style and how you're communicating with the people in your audience. And so, I have a couple of strategic ways to do that. The first one is one up and one downing. So, these situations, in general, women tend to not bring anybody else down. They like to all be up together. And so they end up being the ones down. But men are kind of the opposite. They like to save face. They feel restricted when you put them in the one down situation. And so being aware of these gender stereotypes when you are talking to people is very important in knowing how you're communicating with them. Also in this, speaking with confidence is so important. Don't be afraid to boast a little bit. Do it humbly, but boast. And one of the biggest ways that we're judged on our confidence is through our verbal behaviors. And so being aware of this brings me to my next topic, and that, go ahead to the next slide, is conversational rituals. Conversational rituals are conventional ways that our culture has put in place where when we're speaking, we expect a certain response. So if I went to Schaefer after a presentation today, I went, "Schaefer, you did great. You owned the room. You were a great presenter." And he said to me, "Thanks, Kenzie. You could have spoken up a little bit more, and you could have worked on your body language." That's fine. That's good feedback, but I complimented him, and I expected a compliment back. And so other ways that conversational rituals come into play is apologies, feedback, compliments, as well as oppositions. And so lastly is negotiating authority. Negotiating authority is when the way our communication comes out somehow affects the way that we're seen in kind of this unspoken hierarchy. And so this is mainly effective, for example, in a business situation where men typically will take their bosses out to lunch or they'll go grab a beer after work. And this opens a line of communication where they can talk about, hey, this is what I did good, and they get recognition for it. And so being aware of this is very important.
All right. I have a question for you.
We have an answer for you.
Maybe. As assigned, your presentation focused on how to increase diversity within the League of Women Voters. Now, on March the 3rd, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the For the People Act, H.R. 1. Chris Carson, our president of the National Board, said this landmark legislation is the biggest improvement toward democracy since the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Virginia Case, the CEO of the League of Women Voters, said, "The League works tirelessly to make sure that every eligible voter has their voice heard in every election. A healthy democracy is one in which everyone has their voice heard." How do you think we can use the ideas, the League of Women Voters, that you talked about to successfully increase the participation of the diverse population of potential voters that exist in America today? For example, in the most recent election, only 40% of Americans voted.
Absolutely, and those are extremely important and timely statistics that you seem extremely knowledgeable about, which I compliment you on. And I would argue to say that having this awareness of authentic communication builds a sense of confidence not only in women but in men as well. That it functions as a catalyst into free speech, into voting, into talking, into raising your voice. If you're prepared and if you're knowledgeable about these tactics, you're far more likely, I would argue, to enact in conversations.
Yeah, and I would add on to that, when you're approaching possible voters, maybe a demographic that is known to not vote as much, being able to communicate with them on why they should be voting, and getting their feedback as to why they're not, being able to listen, using your body language, looking at theirs, and the way that you're speaking to them about voting. I mean, I've been run up by somebody before. They ran up behind me and they're like, "Why aren't you voting?" And I was like, "Well, gee, don't attack me." And so their way of communicating with me was not effective in getting me to vote. And so being aware of those tactics is probably the first step.
Okay, let's call time on it so we can get the next team in. Job well